Press.
There we go. All right.
Oh,
We are live. Welcome, everyone. This is.
you mean people can see us? Oh,
Yep.
all right. I'm gonna go.
It's like, oh no!
Wow, that's
oh, no.
scary. No, put me back.
Yeah, you don't want that face. You do not
Yeah.
want that face.
Well,
Sign of
just
the
really
devil.
quickly, I just wanted to tip our hat to Nevermind the Furthermore. Brian K. Morris was right before us, and he is finishing up his show. So if you're following on the playlist, this is not the end-all, be-all. We don't have to shut down after an hour, but we are kind of doing this roadmap for this indie event. And on that note, Matthew, I'm going to give it back to you.
Yeah, and that's the thing, folks. So you can follow this with a hashtag indie event that Meredith has under her or next to her name. You can also follow this on the Geek Insider YouTube and just indie INDEE event VENT.com with a schedule of all the events, the playlist, so that you can just keep watching the shows because we've got a lot of collaborators collaborating and doing their thing for this weekend. And we got stuff planned all day today, all day tomorrow, into the night, and Sunday as well. And we got after hours stuff. We got a whole lot of stuff planned. We got some special guests, and we're just here to have fun. Nobody is really trying to, force anything on you as far as, hey, buy my product, or well, some of them are, they're wanting.
I'm glad you finished that sentence. Nobody's forcing anything on you.
Right, but
Yep, go ahead.
We want to be able to bring you or expose you to new talent, not expose ourselves, but
Matthew doesn't have a filter. Or at least.
So now
Hey,
here's the thing.
finished.
My little I'm raising my hand thing so that people can, well, so we talked about it earlier was with the show etiquette and stuff like that. For people who are not familiar with StreamYard or Restream or whatever streaming service it is, this is just, for people who maybe don't have a show and are a guest, the etiquette is usually, just kind of wave your hand or let people know in the private chat that you have something to say. A lot of times when you're typing, it's not as timely as just going, I have something to say about that, because when we're talking over each other, a lot of times it voids out the noise. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that this isn't a regularly scheduled show. So we're just kind of hanging out with lunch hour here and talking. So I wanted to kind of give Christian the floor to talk about the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. You had an amazing shout out that I want you to talk about. And you're hitting milestones on your social media, which is amazing. And then we're going to go over to Matthew, and I want you to talk about the Not So Happy Hour and building up your channel there too. So go ahead, Christian.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Let's put you on the big screen here.
The last week was just like, wow. Don't put me back down. I don't need that.
What, that?
No, yeah,
that?
my head is big enough as is when you put me backward. Oh, wait a minute. What the? Wait.
and now
stuff
when you pop Christian up like that, now we kind of know who John Lithgow's boss was in Third Rock from the Sun. He was always referring to the big giant head.
Oh, I'm getting rid of Matthew. Thank you for playing. He was fun while he lasted.
And that was the shortest career in history, folks.
Yeah. I'm not ignoring you. I'm like on my phone and just like putting together everything this weekend. We're still putting stuff together, even though you're watching this on the live feed, which is kind of embarrassing. So, yeah, we're really professional. He's on his phone. And he shouldn't be.
Well, no, but in our defense,
that's how we work.
We are filling an hour because why? We can talk for an hour.
Who's
That's
we
easy.
on this one?
Oh, all right. So while Christian is, are you ready? Are you ready, Christian?
Never ready. Come on.
No, never ready. All right. So
shoot it, but yeah, I'll do it. Okay. Yeah. We gotta. Well, I had to take people back a little bit there. We got to shout out. We were doing an interview back then with Andrew Cartmel. Now, at the same time that this was all taking place, I already booked him to be on the Traveling TARDIS. And at the same time, this little, I guess for a better term, controversy came out that there were these sites coming out that, I got to say this. The episode was The Timeless Children on Doctor Who. And there was a moment in there where, spoiler alert, let's just hash it out for everybody. If you haven't watched it, just me or whatever. And the Doctor is supposedly the alien origin of where the Time Lords got their regenerations from. Plus, there's this huge thing of a storyline where the Doctor may have had more lives before William Hartnell's Doctor and may have more lives to come. But that's either here or there. Yeah, whatever. But in place of the social media, some people had mentioned that this was part of the Cartmel master plan. And lo and behold, in about 2 weeks after that was released, I was about to interview Andrew Cartmel. Well, who would be the best person to talk about the master plan and the Timeless Children and how they related would be the man who made the master plan itself. Nobody, I think, even bothered to book the guy, but I already had him booked. So I had him on, and I just asked basically, we asked him about the Cartmel master plan, what it was, and then we introduced him to what happened in the Timeless Children. And he had not seen the episode, so we had to explain to him what went on in the Timeless Children. And he goes, no, not exactly what I was expecting, or however he talks. But he just mentioned that what he had in mind was, and I kind of backed this up a little bit because it's from the man himself, that originally there was a big backstory to the Doctor that we were never supposed to know about. We just knew that the Doctor was more than what he or she was. But we were not to be introduced. Just the title Doctor Who, because once we reveal everything about the Doctor, the show's over, and I confess. He's supposed to be, or she's supposed to be, an enigma. The best way he put it is, the Lone Ranger comes in, saves the day, the Lone Ranger leaves, and everybody asks, who was that masked man? Beyond that, there's nothing else to it. That's what the Doctor does. Well, there were certain sites that compared to what happened in the Timeless Children. Oh, sorry, I just saw something pop up. There was a story about something that happened in the Timeless Children that people start comparing the Cartmel master plan. Well, Andrew kind of, I wouldn't say debunked it, but he said that wasn't his intention. It's going back to where he wanted people to think that the Doctor was more than the Doctor and probably released a little bit of things, but not to the extent of what happened in the Timeless Children when we explained it to him. He thought that was going a little too far. So I'm telling you this because I guess it's 3 months later, Screen Rant gets wind of this and writes a whole article about it. And not only that, but tags a hyperlink to the Facebook episode in Screen Rant. And the way I found out about this is not that anybody from seeing it on Screen Rant or anything. Brian K. Morris told me, hey, you're on Screen Rant. I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, they mentioned you in Screen Rant. I'm like, why would Screen Rant mention me? And he gave me the link, and I was like, holy balls. Nothing I ever thought I'd ever do on my show would ever go into the, like the comic book world, or what was it? Or any fan nature. I would go into the pop culture social media. But there I am in Screen Rant. There's the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. Not only that, if you click on it, it went right to the episode on the YouTube channel, which right now currently is the highest YouTube episode because a lot of the social media came out, including Gary from Nerdrotic made a mention of it, Neon from and Geeky Sparkles from Clownfish TV. They had mentioned it. But Screen Rant seems to have run it months later, and I'm like, I'm not complaining. Hey, you want to bring me more? You want me to bring me more visitors? Go for it. I am no problem. But as you mentioned, with that, we had a goal just recently of going to 35,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel, and we hit it. Not only we hit it, but it's still growing. It's still going on and on and on and on. I think we're at like 153 or something like that last time I checked. And they're still coming in, whether that's due to Screen Rant, whether that's due to, and I got to give, I don't know if you heard the last show, with Brian and I geeking out, maybe you shouldn't, because we were really going nuts. But we gave homage to Meredith because if it wasn't for Meredith and Geek Insider and promoting us and supporting us and providing us the tools we needed to obtain more of a larger audience and get our feet out there, I don't think we would be the success that we are right now. And I think that's all a dedication to Meredith supporting all the indie folks out here who we love. And what I love is that we're starting to support each other too.
Right.
And give us ourselves, okay, so maybe you're not into comics, what you're into Doctor Who, or maybe you're not into Doctor Who, but maybe you're into horror fiction, or you maybe not into horror fiction, you're into something else. We all provide something for everybody out there, and yeah, this is all a testament to Meredith. I mean, we've done a lot of the legwork, but I think Meredith got us over the finish line where we wanted to, and the goalpost keeps moving, which is nice.
Well, I think also, when it comes to social media, it's a really strange bedfellow, because you have to hit certain milestones,
and then protection too them, sometimes.
Yeah, and once you hit them, then you start zooming. So at this point, you got to a certain point, 35,000. That's nothing to turn your nose up at. That is a huge milestone, and you're gonna find, I really believe that it's going to pick up speed. It's going to be like a runaway train. It's almost like on Twitter, as soon as you get that blue check mark, all of a sudden it's like, oh, she's a blue check mark, she must be important.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, where's mine? Damn it, where's mine?
I've been selfishly asking Facebook for that blue check mark, and they never tell you why you didn't get it. So I've been going for it, but then there's like these people who I see, I'm like, what do they do? I've never heard of them.
Yeah.
Why are you getting a blue check mark? And I'm just like, okay, it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, the momentum just recently, and especially with the pickup where we've had a lot more interviews gone wild. Confessingly,
big names.
Well, confessingly, I think if anything positive for us came out of COVID-19 is that these folks don't have work. And they're not getting exposure. And we were more than happy to do that for them because a lot of these folks are very talented. And we wanted to make sure that people knew who they were. They were a big part of this thing called Doctor Who. And we want to make them a part of our legend and get their story out in hopes that maybe one day somebody will pick them up and do a lot of work out there for them. So... are you really raising your hand?
I am. Etiquette. I have manners,
Yeah.
Most of the time. Shut it over there. So I was thinking about sharing this StreamYard link because we've got about 45 minutes. And Pops, if you want to pop in here, reach out to me on Facebook DM and I'll drop you the StreamYard link. Or what I can do is just drop it in. Do I take the chance and drop it in the Geek Insider? All right. I've got the StreamYard link on the Geek Insider Facebook. So if anybody who wants to pop in here and say hello and maybe talk about their virtual con experiences and things, Pops, yeah, you're going to be doing your 5th con August 1 through 2. Now, here's the thing. I have been hesitating to call this event a con. It's not, I mean, for the most part, we have a lot of comic book artists and writers and things like that. So technically we could call it a comic con, but I don't want to call it a virtual event or a virtual con because a lot of them have had really negative experiences as far as being the viewer or being a vendor. And some people have had to pay for their virtual tables, which makes absolutely no sense to me. Matthew and I, we've been working together for a couple of years now. I mean, not through just Geek Insider, but we were on a site together, which dealt with like blockchain and tech and all that stuff, cryptocurrency. But, so we've always been in the mindset that independent creators need a boost because there's quality content out there, but they're just not getting enough attention. Geek Insider is a wonderful vehicle for doing that, which is why we love doing the interviews. We've got some really big interviews coming up. And I won't share my Athena Finger story. Maybe Matthew will make me. But, I have those moments because I'm not in depth into the scene. So when I do my interviews, I go deep diving into finding out who these people are. And I try and find the little nitnoid things that maybe they don't get to talk about all the time. And it turns into a conversation instead of like an interview. And we don't have any gotcha moments. We kind of joke around, Matthew and I, that, if they're comfortable enough to cuss on our show, we're like, all right, we made some friends. Yep. And that's how we feel about it. So Geek Insider has been a wonderful vehicle as far as getting the independent creator's voice out there. We love supporting the Indiegogo's. We love supporting the Kickstarters, but we want to have more than just that. We want to get to know the people, the creators behind it, and we want to follow their journey from their Genesis story, which I love to hear about, to where they are now, to what they're looking forward to in the future. So it's that has been a really wonderful vehicle that's opened up doors to some of these interviews. And just really quickly here, my Athena Finger story, I'll out myself, is in February, I actually met Christian at the Space Coast Comic Con. And I was wearing my Batman shirt, and I'm walking around and stuff like that, and I see the true Aquaman in cosplay. And next to him is some woman. And so I'm talking to him, right? Yeah, just this blonde, whatever. And so I'm doing these quickie interviews, and that I in that same corner I had the true Aquaman, Rick Stafford, and then Deetria Baker, and then he was like, "Well, you should interview her," and I was like, "All right, And who are you? It turns out to be Athena Finger. And I came back from the event, and Matthew's like, and I said, yeah, I've got a business card, and it says like the heiress to the Dark Prince or something like that. Athena something with Batman. And he goes,
no, that is not how it happened.
That's how I remember it.
She goes, yeah, I met somebody. She's the granddaughter of somebody really big with Batman. And I said, if you say Finger, I'm going to freak out. And she goes, Athena? Yeah, Finger. Why? Finger, and I was like, oh, my God, for real. And so, yeah. And then it was so bad I wouldn't even let her come in the interview. It was just me and Athena. No, I'm just kidding. I was a geek out moment. I'm a huge Batman fan. I mean, there's all kinds of Batman statues.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a great. I still give her hell about it. I'm friends with Athena and Rick Stafford now. We just talked last week over some stuff, and they're great guys.
But so here's the thing. When I'm reaching out to people, I don't have any, like, I'm not fangirling over really anybody. You guys put your pants on like I do and stuff like that. I mean, I have a couple of people. Do not stand up. But I mean, there are a few people that I have. Oh no! There are a few people that I would probably fangirl a little bit over, but for the most part, I just try to keep an even keel. Like I don't want to show the enthusiasm. I don't want to gush so much. And just talk to them. And I think that helps make it the roundtable discussions more than an interview, is because I want to get to know them. And then it doesn't feel so much like, oh, well, we're Geek Insider and we're interviewing you. No, it's more like, hey, you want to be friends on Facebook? Let's connect and see what's happening. And it really becomes this organic thing. And I love that. So,
and we never we neither one of us really have a whole lot of questions written down. I may have one or two, you may have one or two, and then we just let the conversation go where the guest takes it. And sometimes they're 30 minutes, and we've had them stretch into an hour and a half with some guests. And that's the thing is yes, we do like to have some of the big names out there, but really and truly, we've done a lot of several interviews with bands lately, and have made some great friends, found some killer new music. I'm absolutely in love with Joe Hertler and the Rainbow Seekers. I give them a shout out anytime I can. If you haven't heard them, go and listen. It is a great band. But anyway, we just let it flow, and then we end up friends. We end up friends on Facebook. We invite them back, let them know, hey, anytime that you got something new and you're promoting it, please let us know it. And I wanted to take a quick second here for any of you out there that are watching that were a part of Geek Insider's virtual con back in April, and you're wondering why you were not invited this time. It is absolutely nothing personal. It is that things have been kind of shut down. Most of you don't have anything new to share, but we wanted to bring more variety, new faces in a lot of places. Christian and Rob are helping us out immensely throughout this thing, just like they did last time. And so you will see some familiar faces, but most of our guests, most of these folks bringing their shows here, they weren't a part of Virtual Con. And so that is the thing. Our main focus here is, like Rob and I discussed earlier, is a combination of networking and entertainment. Entertainment for you guys watching out there, and then networking for the folks that are volunteering their time to come and entertain. And but I just wanted to put that out there because we've got some friends that definitely are indies, directors and actors and actresses. And so I just don't want anybody to feel left out thinking that we just ignored them and don't like them or anything like that. It's not the case.
So I've noticed with our interview style, again, we kind of have that round table, and Matthew's right. I don't write, and we're going to bring in Rob Anderson. I don't write down questions anymore. I used to have a whole line of them, but the really, really good guests kind of answer them before I even get to them.
Right.
Because we have that organic conversation, and it makes it really fun. So the problem ones are the ones that have like the yes or no answers, and then they shut up, and then you're like, oh crap. I'm not prepared.
Right.
Christian, have you found that with your guests? I haven't really seen that. I haven't seen that on your show, and you cover really well if that is the case.
Not on my show per se, but on other shows I've been on where the celebrity just goes, oh, yeah.
Yes.
And I'm just like, why do we bring you on again? I could have just typed the message. You could just send me an email and read it. I'll get to read it aloud. That's the most challenging thing for a host. And we've been blessed with people who first of all, a lot of these people I've already known before. So it was a lot. There's two things. Wow, there's just a lot of thought process going on. So let me go ahead. There's two things. Let me go there. This is my little industry secret that I've been telling people left and right there. There's two things I want to do when I do my show. First of all, when you come on the show, it's about having a good time. Regardless of what the discussion is, regardless of what we're promoting, it's all about a good time. Because if we're having fun and the guest is having fun, the audience listening is also having fun as well. It's got to be, the entertainment will reflect out there. If you're just deadpanned like the actor's studio, then it's just a nightmare because you're just listening to deadpan and nobody wants to listen to that. Even if you're having fun, even if you're not on topic, the whole idea is to have fun with the guests at that time. And if the best compliment I ever got was actually from Katie Manning when she came back on the show. Well, he left. Get a room. Get your own box or something.
He has to sneak in a smooch every once in a while.
I totally understand there. Katie Manning, when I asked her back, I said, Katie, you can come back anytime if you want to promote anything. She goes, darling, I didn't come here because I was promoting something. I came back because I had a good time with you the last time. Or however she talks. But
I'm sure she appreciates that.
Yeah, and then she came back and we did the Tim Trelaw episode, which we came up with the idea of just saying, how about if Katie interviews Tim with us and see if we could start a trend where we would have a celebrity that we interviewed and then we'll come back and they'll interview a celebrity who also is a part of it. And there was probably one, I mean, I'm going to say everything we've done is the best time, but I meant it reflects in the ratings too. It's one of our highest rated shows. It was a good time all around. It was.
Yeah, there was one episode that I was watching where you had somebody on the phone.
That was it.
That was the one.
That was the most. Not only was it the most, it was the most technically challenging because, for whatever reason, Katie's Wi-Fi was unforgiving. So what we came up with, we had to postpone the show, we had to delay the show, we had to kick about 15, 30 minutes. We actually, Tim and Katie came up with the idea that he would FaceTime her literally and pull up the phone like this and say, okay, here's Katie. And that's how we had to do it.
But that really speaks volumes, because if it was hard or they didn't want to be there, they would have been like,
they would have given, they would have even good. And we were very, they were not only supportive, they were very forgiving. We were very forgiving. It was just like, it happens.
Yeah.
And they were willing to work it out. And yeah, you can't get that kind of commitment from anybody sometimes, because they're like, okay, well, they had every right to give up too. I mean, it was just the way it was, but they were willing to help us out. And that's not only a testament to the process, it's a testament to those two as what wonderful human beings they were going to, we're going to make the show happen and work with you. Even 30 minutes after, we know you guys got time, and especially in this day and age where you need to do work and find work because it's barely out there, you're willing to give us the time to do this. And it's vice versa. If people are willing to come onto my show, I want to give them the appreciation. We appreciate you just even coming out to us.
Right.
Well, one of the things that I know that Rob and I have had discussions about ego and stuff, and there have been times.
Well, you got Matthew over here.
Well, we've
speaking of ego, there's Rob.
I have no ego, right? Or it's so big you can't see it. We've reached out to people who are like, well, what's in it for me, and they're looking for money. They're looking for some kind of payoff and stuff like that. We're like, we don't have a budget, but we have a network and we would like to share you with our audience. But if you're going to be a jerk about it, then never mind.
Oh, yeah, it's. Oh, okay. Well, I guess you don't want to hear my answer. Fine.
Right. Yeah. We're just going to remove him from the stream. So there.
It's really hard because you got to remember this is their bread and butter. I mean, I do have another job after this that I go to that supports what I do here, but this is their bread and butter. And it is hard. Now, it's not that I don't think David Tennant will come down from Mount Olympus and do my show. I'm sure there are like 10 agents ready to go, okay, what do they got to offer you so that they can get paid and on it. It's just the bane of the thing. I just like, it's not that I don't think they would do it. I think I'm one of probably a million podcasts that are probably sending messages to David Tennant going, hey, you want to come on the show? Mm-hmm. So why are you special? Especially when now he does his own podcast. So great. Thanks, David. I gave him a hard time at a convention. It was just like, I pulled out my phone. I said, hey, we got something coming. We're both on iHeartRadio. And then I said, by the way, I'm not auditioning for Doctor Who. Get off my lawn, boy. He laughed. I said, I was here first. You just don't come and mosey on iHeartRadio just because you felt like it. I'm not auditioning for Doctor Who. Let's call it even. He just got to laugh and goes, okay. Or however he talks. But
I had to bail out there. I looked over at my power supply for my mic, and then this is a country life. The other day, a scorpion got one of my dogs, and this time there was a big old freaking spider sitting here right beside me. And so I had to take care of business. I don't know how long it had been sitting there, but it didn't look friendly.
I live in Florida for the viewers who don't know. And the one day I was sitting here and I'm working. It's the middle of the night, and I'm like, what is that? You know how you see something at the corner of your eye, and there was a palmetto literally sitting on my webcam, staring at me. So all I saw were its antennas and its little head, and I just and I just went. Now, for anybody who doesn't know, palmetto is a really nice Florida word for big ass cockroach. Oh my gosh, I totally freaked out, you know.
Size of a cannon.
But I do want to chime in a little bit. I think it's disingenuous to instantly go to David Tennant when we're talking about people who wanted money. It wasn't David Tennant who wanted money. We're talking about people who honestly don't get paid to go to cons. They're lucky if they get tables comp to them, that they're now looking for handouts. We're seeing that, not trying to be critical. We're seeing that a lot with cosplayers. Cosplayers are now trying to charge to do events. Speaking from only experience, back when I was doing the weekend shows, when this all first started, I was one of the first few people to be doing online events during the weekend. We tried to do a cosplay thing where we had people together. And they were like, well, how much are we going to get paid to be on this? Mind you, this is the very beginning. We were like, what are you talking about? Mm-hmm. And I was like, you know what? This is just a bad idea. We're not going to move forward. And I'll be honest, if you think you're going to get paid to be on a webcam or even a podcast, podcasts don't make the money most people think they do. Some might.
Trust me.
David Tennant might be making some money from the ad revenue. But most of this doesn't get anything. Again, if you're not smart enough, we talked about this during our preview. If you're not smart enough to understand why this helps you, then you shouldn't be getting this type of help. David Tennant should be paid for his time. I'll say that right now. And it's simply same concept behind a comic book I'm working on. When you're in demand, you have to go where the money is. You have to keep paying. Are these people that wanted money, are they honestly in demand, Meredith? I know some of the people, so I'm not going to be mean about it. But do you see them being in demand right now? Do you see people knocking down their doors?
I personally don't.
Understand the economy around you. Don't ask for money when no one else is paying you to be somewhere. So I do think bringing up David Tennant's a little disingenuous for the people who are asking. So if David Tennant wants to come on, how much is he asking? Because I'll get some money together. We'll do a GoFundMe. We'll get David Tennant on the show. But
damn it.
I'm not stopping you.
Yeah,
I'm also saying that, yeah, it is a supply and demand thing, and that's why I use David Tennant, because he is a big demand. Yeah. Comparatively to classic Who people, yeah, it's not. I'm not putting anybody down in this in this metric. This is basically just marketing. Period. This is just supply and demand marketing. If somebody wants at a convention who they want to go to, especially now what's popular, they're going to go to David as opposed to a classic Who. That is not to diminish anybody who has worked or done anything in classic Who. That's just the result of the market as it is in this production. Now the thing is, the other thing is I don't know what is it called, the mindset of these people, for a better term, that maybe David does want to do the show. He doesn't know it, but I'm sure that he's got a million other people asking him to do the show, or his show, their shows as well. So, and they're being followed by like 10 agents or something. Whoa, I'm Meredith. And they're being, being filtered out by all the agents that he's got taking care of him, or whatever prime agent he's got. Like the only reason why I used him is because he's more of a popular person at this time, because he's done more stuff. He's done Marvel. He's done Doctor Who. He's going to be in higher demand than somebody who has been in classic Who and hasn't, probably seen TV in 20 or 30 years and has been doing their own projects. It doesn't make them any different of a person. It just is the way the market is. It's not an insult to David either. It's just basically saying, that wasn't the inclination. I'm just using the market, which is a very cruel system, but a system nonetheless that we work with.
But it's also, I think what Meredith was saying is that she offered people an opportunity, and they tried to make it a monetary value when no one's offering them to be anywhere. David Tennant, people are throwing money at him to be part of things.
True.
These other people need the exposure to even be relevant, let alone get money thrown at them, and I use the cosplayer example because of that. I've also had creators, to be fair, come to me and go, well, how am I going to be compensated? And my answer has always been, you're not. You're no longer invited. Because if you think that's what this is about, then you're missing why we're here. And I don't want you coming to plug, because those are the same people in the middle of talking to you guys. They will start doing a plug. And I don't want that on these shows. You know what I mean? There's a time and place. Don't get me wrong. Everyone's allowed to plug. But we've all had it. I'm sure Matthew's had it. The guy, when you ask the guy, hey, do you have any funny stories about a movie you went to go see? And they start off going, yeah, there was this one time when I was making a comic book, and they spend 10 minutes telling you about the comic books. You know it's a pitch. You know it has nothing to do with the story. And at the end, when they tell you the story, it's like, yeah, so I went to see a movie and I spilled my popcorn behind a seat. Wait a minute, that was the story? You went 10 minutes about your book and 2 seconds about popcorn. Thanks. You're never on my show again. And Matthew knows there are certain people who do that, who suck the air out of the room. Again, this is about entertaining people. If you don't want to entertain people, that's fine. Go sit in the back and wait till someone pays you to do whatever you want to do. But there are serious people out there who want the exposure. Look at you, Christian. You're a hustler. You're out there trying to get the exposure, trying to get people excited, trying to entertain people. I'm sure that you're not out there trying to cash in on people. Right now, during a pandemic, there are people who put their hand out and go, well, how much are you going to pay me to do this? I'm sorry, I didn't realize you were busy this weekend at a con. Go do the con instead.
I've actually come across people who've asked me how you're going to come. And it's fine. But then again, this was pre-COVID. Too as well, so it's not. It really is it really is. It was really a strange bedfellow coming in with a strange bedfellow that we work with coming in the marketplace, because when I used to go to cons, we were happy to get in, let alone get panels. Or if they gave us panels, we paid for the ticket, so we go in and do our panels. Come flash forward 8 years later, now we're going to MegaCon. We're going, well, when they happened, we were going to MegaCon. We're going to Florida SuperCon. We're going to Space Coast Comic. We've already made our bones. We've already made the market. We're growing rapidly at this point, thanks to a lot of everybody, like everybody here, who support one another. Meredith, big time. Brian, big time. And all the team that I have out here who support the show, they just come on, they're not coming in. What we compensate for? Well, you're in probably the largest Doctor Who radio show audience that I can think of right now. Point me to another. But they believe in the product. I would like to compensate people. Would love to. I would love to pay for the staff. I would love to pay for the equipment. Well, I meant, but you know what I'm saying? It's I would love to compensate, but I'm in no position yet. We're getting very close. We're at least enough to thrive, meaning that I don't have to worry about my show going off the air because we didn't have enough funding for the website or the videos or anything of that nature. However, I would love to compensate everybody who comes on. Even if it's a small compensation, that would be my goal. But in the meantime, the reality is my market demand. What's the difference between a podcast who is just starting off and mine? We do have the numbers. That makes a big difference. That's what these conventions are looking for. But I like the fact that you mentioned cosplayers, because I do know some cosplayers, no offense to them. But yeah, they do that, use the terminology, how are we going to get compensated? And I'm just like, oh, well, we got a cosplayer down the street who just started, who has a reasonable amount of numbers to get. We'll support them. And we wouldn't have to worry about compensation. We'll just give them a table, and as long as they make people happy, we don't care. It is the supply and demand, which is an evil thing, but in its own right. But we still work with it, and it is what it is.
It is. And, we've got some things planned at Geek Insider as far as even expanding the amount of help that we're doing together, the networking. And we do want to do something with cosplayers. We've wanted to for several years now. We wanted to get something going to where these folks can promote where they're appearing and show their portfolio of their favorite photographs and their cool costumes, or if they want to share videos of how they make their costumes, all of that. And so if any of you out there listening have interest in something like that, get in touch with me at Matthew@geekinsider.com or Meredith@geekinsider.com. because we'd love to talk to you about that. We've got a lot of plans coming up, like I said, over the next few weeks to even expand the indie part of it even more. But if you are looking at, well, what's in it for me, other than exposure and getting your name out there, then it's not going to be something that we're interested in, because we are trying to keep our head above water just like everybody else right now. And we've got at Geek Insider, we've got several podcasts. I'm about to launch another one just because every now and then I get pissed off about something, and I wanted a platform to where we could do our tough topics. We have a lot of stuff planned on that one. We're getting some special guests, and I wanted a platform to where it wasn't necessarily Geek Insider or Meredith's new Wild One Forever. I wanted a platform where we can, do those late night shows and be ourselves and talk about the tough things. I don't want to do politics, but it's called the Not So Happy Hour. We've got the .com, the notsohappyhour.com. It's just a placeholder right now, but that's probably going to be a late night show several nights a week. But again, we're trying to build these channels. If you haven't done so, folks, please follow us or subscribe to the Geek Insider YouTube channel if it's your bag. We've got several different shows over there, including the Geeky, Cheeky, and Downright Freaky, which is getting a little bit of fire under it right now, because we talk about the Mandela effect and UFOs and time travel and the whole 9 yards of the more geeky side of geek. And so, but with Rob and Christian, we have started, and Kevin, we started a network building out here to where we can help each other out and then help those that we know. And that's what I am loving. I took over. I've been working with Geek Insider for over 3 years now. I was a writer. Took over as managing editor just almost a year ago, and we've done a lot of stuff that the owner has wanted to do for a long time, including getting these podcasts going and the YouTube channel. But the main thing is building out our networking, and that's what we want to help everybody do this weekend. You see somebody on the show that you like, if you can't afford to support them now, just help them out by spreading the word, by sharing the hashtag over the weekend for Indie Event. Watching Rob's show, watching Christian's show, everybody is getting a lot of good traction going on. And Rob said this at VirtualCon, this is the Indies times to shine. And if you come out of this whole year now, because 2020 has got to be one of the weirdest years on record. If you come out of this and you're a creator, you're an artist or writer, and you come out of all this without anything constructive done, then you can never say it's because you don't have time. It's you are the problem.
Yep.
And go ahead.
I do want to say to give credit to the cosplayers. I know a lot of them have become a little bit busy with the site. All My Fans or My Fans Only. I know a lot of them have moved over there, so they are used to getting compensated for being on the camera now, and they're going to Patreon. So they might really just feel like their time is money. So if you feel like you can make your money somewhere else, go hustle there. That this just isn't what this is about.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I didn't realize they were. I'm sorry, Christian. Go ahead.
No. Well, no, go ahead. I was going to say, yeah, that there is that weird fine line, because if somebody wants you and you made your bones, and you've shown that there is an audience for you and you care for it, because there is a difference between somebody who just started Yaya Han. I mean, everybody knows who she is inside the convention world. Outside the convention world, nobody really knows who she is. But inside the convention world, she's made her bones. She's done her stuff. She sews her own material. She's done it. And if somebody is willing to say, yes, I think it's time to move up there, yeah, I like I said, I don't market. I'm not trying to down anybody in this industry because of money or anything of that nature or the need. It's just the reality of what we do. It's going to be up to the market to determine what we're worth. And I'm hoping that we have established over time. I'd like to think I did. I mean, here, Rob, I'll show you. Somebody, Brian K. Moore sent me this. I'm going to put on the StreamYard link. And this is probably the most surreal moment thing. That is a link to Screen Rant. Oh, I'm not even part of it. There. That's a link from Screen Rant. And they make a mention of our show. I never thought one day that anything that we would do would end up in Geekdom social media. And they make a mention, they put in a hyperlink and send it to, and it goes to the episode that they referred to that caused a lot of controversy in Doctor Who. I'm shocked as heck. But somebody saw it and watched our video and said, okay, this is something that needs to be addressed. So we must be doing something right. Somebody out there is looking for us and making it known. So I'm hoping if that is the case, then we have proven ourselves. It's just like an employee at a job. You know, there's an employee who starts off day one who hasn't done anything, or an employee who's been there for 5 years, who's unswervingly done great things, has made customer service awards and stuff like that, has made accomplishments, that made a huge contribution. Now they're like, you earned this moment.
Right.
So
yeah, but not to step on your toes with this, but I think at least in comic books, just comic books. I don't know how cosplay is, and I don't think anyone knows how cosplay is because it's so brand new. But especially with podcasts, comics, a lot of entertainment, you can be hot 1 second and it can all go away the next second. It's a constant struggle to find new markets, to advertise yourself and to be prevalent in. We do these shows not just to entertain people, but to stay relevant. I can't tell you how many people decided not to do something. They went away and now they're coming back and suddenly people are like, who are you? Because in 3 months, it's changed that much. In 3 months, it is. And some people know what they're doing. I have a friend barely on Kickstarter. I mean, barely on Facebook, goes to Kickstarter once every 3 to 4 months, clears out 10 grand, 20 grand. Without even trying, doesn't talk to anyone, built his fan base, knew what he was doing. Very impressive. He's on his 10th book coming up. Very proud of him. So like you said, you know, you can make your own audience, but for the most part, you also got to kind of worry about staying relevant. And I think that opportunities like this keep you relevant. And if you're always going to have your hand out looking for money, there's going to be a day where your relevancy has begun to drop and people are going to remember when you had your hand out. So as a nice warning to people, this is a very real thing. You go up, you go down in comics. If you go back up, that's because you did everything right going up. So when you were going down, people were there to stop the fall. People were there to help you get back up. If you start getting relevant and start expecting too much, the minute you fall down, everyone's going to want to keep you down. And they're not going to want to see you come back up because you didn't do the right thing. So just be mindful of that. When you're trying to hold your hand out for money, either you better be damn worth every penny and you better bring an audience, or don't bother asking. And start off the conversation with, hey, normally I get paid for something like this. Do you guys have a budget? It's a very nice way to talk about something. Is this something you guys have a budget for? Or is this something where I'm going to get the opportunity to grow my fan base? See how nice that sounds? Because now you're opening conversation. When you start off, well, how am I going to be compensated? It just makes, like, there's a part of my spine that gets tight. My asshole literally clenches a little bit. Like, what did you just say to me? And, you know, I've even gone as far as to be like, well, how much are you going to pay me for putting the event on that you're part of? And then it's the same thing I do with artists. Artists come up to me. They show me art in my messenger, and they're like, I'm an artist. I'm like, cool, I'm a writer. And they tell me how much they get paid per page to write it. And I mean, to draw it. I tell them how much I get paid per page to draw it. And they're like, wait a minute, I didn't ask you to write something. I was like, well, how else are you going to do your art? You got to remember that. Yeah. We're creating a platform where people can be and can get awareness built about them. If they don't see that as compensation, I can't help them beyond that. Unless they're David Tennant, then I'll start my GoFundMe today, David. I'll start my GoFundMe today. We'll get you on. Just keep it fair, man. We're indie creators. We don't make a lot.
Well, and speaking of promoting and spreading the network, Meredith is the world's worst about self-promoting as far as her new project goes. She is my counterpart over at Wild One Forever. She's the managing editor. And Wild One Forever, Meredith, tell everybody what Wild One Forever is about.
I've been a little busy, Matthew, if you haven't noticed.
Excuses.
I know. Wild One Forever is actually a women-centric site. Not comic books or anything like that, but it is women-oriented, but not women-exclusive. And we talk about tough subjects like PTSD, abuse, and stuff. But we have fun things like recipes and diet and fitness stuff. There's a few younger writers, they're talking about the dating life and those challenges and all that stuff. But it's really fun and informative. In the mornings, I usually have the Morning Nosh, which is about a 10-minute morning show. I didn't do that this week because I'm going to do an hour-long one tomorrow to kick off the day. I'm going to be a hurt puppy. So I decided that I was going to invite my husband to be my guest. And we're going to be talking about the dynamics of working with your spouse. So we've had periods of time where we were working together, and it's kind of like a 24/7 thing, and we haven't killed each other. I still like the man. so that is
like who's in charge the whole time? Do you guys switch roles?
Oh,
what's your safe word? What's your safe word?
He doesn't have one. He just
I'm hungry. I'm hungry is the safe word.
He cowers in the corner. He goes, "Yes, dear," and then he keeps me in coffee and food, so that stays on my good side.
Well, and Wild One Forever, as Meredith says, she has been really busy. She helps us immensely, a ton on Geek Insider, and then she's always out networking and helping other people, and then she does run Wild One Forever in the background. She's got a lot, several great ladies that are writing over there, but we do have a contest that's coming out where one lucky person, man or a woman, is going to win this watch from Nordgreen. And I don't know if you can see it. It's still got the plastic on it. And this watch, what did it retail for, Meredith? Almost $200.
Yeah, I want that watch, but I don't qualify.
Yeah, Brenda has threatened me. She said, if you get another watch like that, it's mine. But there's a review of it on Wild One Forever, but then there will be a contest coming up this next week or shortly thereafter, as soon as Meredith can get time to put it together. But you'll want to watch wildoneforever.com for that. But that platform is really taken off because it's not just beauty tips. It's not just fashion. Like Meredith said, it's a safe place where women can talk about tough topics. There will be a new podcast coming after we get through all of this, which is Roar.
Do we want to talk about our new person, ALG?
Yes.
ALG and Louise Gittleman, if you guys are familiar with the Fat Flush program. I have known her and of her since the 90s on another platform called iVillage, which doesn't exist anymore. And she basically cut her teeth on promotion and organic following. And her book, Fat Flush, actually was the bestseller because of that platform. So I understand from a long time ago the importance of online communities and what we can do to drive interest and support for one another. And it was so funny to see almost 30 years later that we connected again, because she was like the only Anne Louise that I know. And so when Matthew said, there's an Anne Louise something, and I said, Gittleman? He goes, yeah, how'd you know? Like I was reading his mind or something. I'm like, that's the only Anne Louise I know. People only know her as Anne Louise. And so that is really a huge feather in our cap for Wild One Forever as far as diet and fitness and kind of legitimacy, I guess. I mean, we're a legit site without her, but it just makes it so much better. That would be like kind of like a Christian's David Tennant. That is our David Tennant over at Wild One Forever. And we're seeking other people too.
Yep. We came together in a roundabout way. I was talking with someone else about some advertising opportunities, and he looked at the site and he's like, look, I got a friend that would really enjoy this site. And I had no idea who she was, but she fell in love with the site. She's given us her books to publish on the site. She has given us articles to put on the site. And then she's even considering doing a podcast channel on the site. That's how much she liked it and likes the mission statement behind Wild One Forever. And this was a project that the owner has owned that domain for quite some time, and he's wanted to get this women-centric site going. But he had me, and I'm not necessarily.
You're one ugly damn woman.
Very much so, and I got pictures to prove it.
Yes, you do.
Yes.
I bet Rob would like to see that.
No. The show doesn't end until we see those pictures posted up here. You know that's right.
Oh,
On the live feed.
Before we go any further, we've got about 5 minutes, and I want to tip our hat and pass the potato to Roland Mann. He is with Silverline Comics, and he's going to be doing a retrospective. If we go a couple minutes later here, or we continue on, that's fine. But I just wanted to tip the hat to him. His show is next on the playlist. Be sure to tune in, give him a follow, share it out, and subscribe to his stuff. Go ahead, Matthew. Let's try and wrap it up in the last 5 minutes here. We'll go around the room.
I already discussed, the not so happy hour, but one thing I do want to give a shout out, folks, is badguynonsense.com. This is a card game, tabletop game that's being put together by the
Mark Rienzo.
Yeah, and he's the visual effects supervisor, folks, for some of your favorite movies, including Thor Ragnarok and Book of Eli. The list goes on and on. But if you go and search geekinsider.com and you search for Mark's name, or you search for Bad Guy Nonsense, you can get entered in to win a pack of the set of the cards. But if all else, check out badguynonsense.com. Go to his Kickstarter. He's just about a little under $1,000 shy of goal. He's got like 11 days left. We have an interview with Mark on our YouTube channel. He's a great guy. We're actually going to have him back to talk about his career, because we just had him on for the cards. And guys, I'm trying to get that picture loaded up, but it's not letting me load.
Yeah, we know how that is.
I'll find it.
All right, and a couple more minutes. Who wants to go next?
That was already an hour. Wow.
That's what I mean. It's like, it was an unscheduled cancellation, and we can talk for days. So filling an hour really isn't that hard.
Okay. So who's up at the 2:00 hour? Let's put it that way.
We've got Roland Mann with Silverline Comics.
Yeah, you just said that, and I'm just falling asleep.
We love you anyway.
I love me too, but that's another story.
How much? No, don't tell us. Until the after hours.
I've always told Brian K. He should have the Nevermore After Dark.
Oh my gosh, that would be a train wreck.
Man, we all those innuendos come to its fruition at that moment.
All right, Christian, last few minutes. Where can we find you?
The best place to look is facebook.com, The Traveling TARDIS. And we'll post the links up there, because if we do live feeds, they happen there. You can go to our YouTube channel. Just look up HWWS Media, the Hanging with Web Show Media. There's a ton of us out there. But if you want to look us up on YouTube, that's a good place to go. But Facebook is the better part, because we post all the links to Spreaker, the iHeart, CBSRadio.com. We'll be posting all those links up there for you to check out, plus the live feeds. You can just catch up with us and join us with the... I just threw up in my mouth.
I told you I had proof. I make an ugly woman. That was Halloween. My kids had not seen me without.
I feel dirty. I need a shower. I feel unclean.
They had not seen me without facial hair, and so I had to surprise them. And it came down like this. It was hilarious. The whole family just died laughing.
I just want to know where you got those leggings.
My wife at the time, Lori, had them. She got them for me, I think. But hang on here, just in case that one wasn't bad enough. Here's a close up for you. And hang on, there's one more. I can get
I think you're better than mine.
Hey, they were perky. I had good perky ones.
The
And
scary
then,
part is they naturally look like they run correctly. So I don't know.
Exactly right.
Oh my God.
there I am getting ready, freshly shaven. But yeah, my kids they'd only seen me once without.
Sinead O'Connor let herself go so badly after that.
I know.
After
My
SNL.
goodness, that's booze and drugs, right?
Right. That's rough living,
Put
boy.
it away, please. You're scary.
Everyone, thanks so much for joining us. Y'all make sure.
Don't end it yet. Rob's gotta tell us where we can find him.
Yeah,
and
warn
then
us before you do that. Yes, Pops. Thank you so much.
really.
Oh my God. Amy said I look like her mother-in-law.
Forget all those diet plans. Just take a look at those 3 pictures. You'll never eat again.
Bob Anderson, if you're here real quickly, because we're at the 2:00 hour. I want to
Yeah,
pass
I'm not going to step on Roland's feet. Just find me here over the weekend. You'll find out where you can find me by watching my other shows.
All right, Matthew.
I was just going to say, make sure you tune in on the playlist for the next show coming up and all throughout the day, tomorrow and Sunday. And if all else, just give them your love. Come in when you can. Thanks, everybody. Share the hashtag indie event, INDEE event. And let's just have some fun this weekend.
That's right. And I'm Meredith Loughran. You can find me at the hashtag. I'm going to be all over the place this weekend. So just tune in, have fun, share it out with your friends, and we will talk to you later. Going to end the broadcast. Bye-bye.
I'm going to throw up. You might want to end it now.